The collaboration conversation is brought to you by Project Brickworks, the new ministry dedicated to equipping Christians to use their talents and gifts to bring others into a relationship with King Jesus. We created the collaboration conversation as a way for Christians to share about their upcoming projects and how they are using the gifts and talents that God has given them. Today, we are very excited because we have a very special episode.
Yes, we do.
We not only have one guest, but we have two, and they are young folk.
Yes, they are young people.
And we are so excited to chat with them about all of the things that God's got going on with them. We've got two guests today. Our first guest is going to be Isaiah O'Sullivan, and our second guest will be Lincoln Josselyn. So first up, we have Isaiah O'Sullivan. Isaiah is a 14-year-old ninth grade stop motion filmmaker from the Nashville area. Isaiah, we are so excited to have you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on the podcast, Sarah.
We're so excited to talk to you. I don't know if you know this, but I want to be a filmmaker too someday.
Wow.
We have that in common.
But it is very nice to meet you. Your mom and I worked together for about, I think, 5 or 6 years, way back in the day. And so she and I are friends on Facebook, and she kept sharing some of your work and some of the things that you and your brother were doing. And it just looks so interesting and really caught our attention. So we wanted to have you on and to hear about your passion and just learn more about you. So if you don't mind, tell us about you and your family. And I know you're homeschooled, so, jump into that too.
Sure. I am a 14-year-old ninth grader. I do stop motion films. And aside from that, I like all my school subjects. I love Latin and literature and history and algebra. I just started architecture this year. And it's really fun. It's actually helping me with my Lego set building, like with all the details. And aside from that, I enjoy spending time with my younger brother. And I love historical subjects like knights, pirates, history, literature, and mythology.
So cool. That is all of those skills, Isaiah. I got to tell you, as someone who has, been a filmmaker for a while, all of those subjects in school, even algebra, even things that you think might not be a part of filmmaking, they make you a better filmmaker. So I think that is so cool that you like all of those subjects. That is really cool. And someday you're going to remember, you know what I'm saying? They just all work together, and it just helps you create better stories. And so I think that's awesome, and I'm really proud of you. That's really cool.
Well, so as we were reading through your bio, you had a very interesting fact, and I thought you could share that with us.
Yes, actually. When I was 7, I started writing a novel. I was very inspired by the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Chronicles of Narnia. And I have 5 composition books filled up with notes and like chapter titles and stuff already for it.
That is so cool. What do you plan to do with that? Are you going to type it out and send it to somebody, or is it just for you?
I think that, as I get it wrote, I'm going to type it up on my iPad, and I may publish it sometime, I hope.
That is so cool. Very cool. Congratulations.
Yeah,
I've never written a novel.
That's awesome. Well, so this might seem silly, a lady at my age, that I follow your YouTube channels, but I know you have 2 of them. And I don't know if I mentioned this in the conversations that we were having back and forth between us in preparation for this. But I have an uncle who has unfortunately passed away more recently. But he lives in California, and he's like 70 years old, and he was following your channels. I saw our names both on there, and so I messaged him like, "Hey, I know these kids' moms," and it was just really, really cute that this older guy and he was an engineer, so he was totally into all of that. He was following you guys too.
That's cool.
Yeah, but if you don't mind, go ahead and tell us a little bit about your YouTube channels.
Well, I've had the BFOL Brother Fans of Lego one, the one with the Pirates Davy Jones movie on it, for quite some time, of a few years. And I wanted to, that's the one where I do a bunch of my fun Lego animations, my set reviews, my fun little stories that I make up, the script and the storyline for. But I wanted to do something more serious, that used my love of the school subjects for stop motion to put them into it, and mostly to draw other kids to the stories. In my movies, I do a bunch of the different like history, Bible, literature, Shakespeare, poems. It's called living bricks literature. And we got that from like, we read a lot of the living books. So I like that we're doing that. It's quite fun. I'm actually working on a couple right now, and I'm enjoying it. I really want to draw other kids to it. So as they're watching my videos, they will like want to get like an idea that they want to read the stories for themselves and like know what I'm talking about and stuff.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, so tell us, how did you get started in, I mean, I can see your set behind you. I can see all your Legos. You know, you didn't start with all of that. So how did you get started, and how did you decide that you wanted to do stop motion?
Well, it started out with a Lego movie maker app that I found out about from an ad on the back of one of my instruction manuals.
Cool.
And my first movie ever was a movie with two guys making pancakes. It didn't get published because I never had my YouTube channels at that time, not for a long time. But some of my first videos that are on BFOL actually use the stop motion movie maker app. But around like when I was 10 or 11, I got an app called Stop Motion Studio. It allowed me to do things that the stop motion app didn't allow me to do, like green screen and graphics, facial animation, and paint tools and stuff. So I was able to do a lot more like different things with that app than with the stop motion app.
Wow.
And then I wanted to do something like way more professional. So I started to look at what other animators were like doing with their stuff. Like I purchased like some animation books about the stuff, and I really started to get into it. Then I wanted to move away from animating with my iPad, and I wanted to go more to like a real camera. So Mom gave me her Canon Rebel camera, and I read the instruction manual to it and another book that went with it on photography. And Dad bought me some of the most crucial pieces of equipment for it, like my tripod, my gooseneck lamps, my macro extension lens, and all that cool stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. I love that your parents are so supportive.
Mm-hmm.
How
They
cool
are.
is that? Oh, I love that.
Well, okay, so you mentioned this already. Lego Pirates Davy Jones. I think that's your most recent effort and project. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I love pirates. We just watched for the first time the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, so I was really into pirates at the time, like really into it. And I really wanted to do a movie that had pirates in it. So I just started writing the script for it, and it kind of just flowed from there. And there were some parts I had to take out of it because my software couldn't hold all of it that I wanted it to. But I'm planning on doing a sequel to it because it was just so fun. I really enjoyed it. It was just so fun when I was making it. I had a lot of fun and a really good time making it.
That is so cool. Well, if it's okay with you, we're going to actually show our viewers a little clip from it. Is that all right? Let's do that now. That is so cool. I got to tell you, when I watch the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, my favorite character is Davy Jones. I think he is all of the CGI on him and the actor. I love that actor. He's easily my favorite character. So that's really cool. I love that you were inspired by Pirates of the Caribbean and all of that. So I want to talk to you a little bit about filmmaking. Do you have a favorite movie or two?
Yes, I really like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and I also really like the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies. Like,
Yes.
they're just so good. They're what I like. The literature, historically, like old world stuff. I love that. More than anything.
Absolutely. Have you have you read all of the Lord of the Rings books as well?
Yeah, I've read them multiple times.
Okay, I believe that. Yes. Very cool. I know that Tolkien really created, and it sounds like you're really into this with Shakespeare and literature and storytelling. Tolkien created these worlds. He didn't just write the books. There's so much backstory to the world that's not even in the books. It's crazy. My brothers, your sons, are really into that. So is that something that you're into?
Oh yeah, I love it. Like all like the family trees and everything. It's like he didn't just make up a character and throw him in and that was it. He was just like this just character. He had a backstory, like a family. His dad was probably somebody. They're always somebody.
Well,
absolutely.
And he created languages, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, whoa, that's
crazy.
awesome.
Well, and I can even see you got the Hobbit map on your wall.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Yeah, that's
very
pretty cool.
We love Lord of the Rings. We my brother and I will have like a Lord of the Rings marathon where we watch all of the Hobbits, the extended edition, and all of the Lord of the Rings extended edition over one weekend. And it's a lot of Middle Earth, but it's awesome and it's so much fun.
Yeah,
well, that's great. All right. So what other projects are you working on? You got anything else going on?
Yes. Currently, I am working on some different of my Living Bricks literature movies. Back there behind me, you can see my tripod set up and stuff. That's what I'm working on. I'm working on a Daedalus and Icarus adaptation and a Walter Scott vignette.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
I'm so impressed.
That's very, very
that is
cool.
so cool.
Well, I want to go back to something you said, though, before we
go ahead.
Transition. You said that you've been writing a book since you were 7. What's the, you don't have to give it away, right, because you're in the middle of all that. But what's the
theme
or the general vibe about it? Yeah.
Basically, the idea with it is this completely different realm. And everybody is an elf. And there's these elves that start dwelling in caves and they get like really used to the caves. So their eyes get really big and stuff. And then they're called goblins. But they used to be elves that just start dwelling in caves and went kind of nuts.
Right.
Very cool.
And they're the bad guys. And then the good elves who are still there are trying to stop them from destroying all their cities and villages and stuff.
Right.
So
Nice.
cool.
All right. Well, good.
Well, we look forward to reading that.
Yes,
That's very cool.
That'll be awesome.
Well, so Isaiah, if you don't know this, and for our listeners who may not know, we love talking about talents and gifts. That's a really big part of our ministry and what we do and what we talk about. And so I was wondering if obviously creativity is one of your big talents. You're so creative. You're really driven and focused. I think that's another really big one for you because I mean, filmmaking is hard, but stop motion filmmaking is really hard. And so I can see so many talents that you have, but I wanted to see if you had thought about or given some thought to what your talents and gifts are. And so I wanted to see if you would talk about that.
Well, I feel like every talent I have comes to me from God. When I am working on my stop motion or even writing a script, I feel like I'm spending time with him. I feel like I'm connecting with God and that he's helping me every step of the way.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
That was awesome. And I love that because I think that's what talents and gifts should be about, right? We're using what God gave us to his good, to our good and his glory.
Yeah. And
so it really is fellowship with him. I think that's so special.
Yeah.
That was very cool.
No, and I agree. And to just echo a little bit about what Sarah was saying, obviously storytelling is
one of your gifts.
Super important. And yeah, it's great whenever you can identify what the things that he's given you. It just makes you kind of a more focused person.
You're more aware and
well, so what do you want to do when you're done with high school?
I'm thinking of like doing filmmaking and movie making as like the main thing, like what I would like to do when I grow up, but also creative writing or script writing for movies or plays or books as well.
Yeah.
So cool. You're so creative. And I love that you know at such a young age what you want to do. That is so cool. And I love that your parents are on board. That's really important. Well, there's I guess in filmmaking, you can do lots of different things. Don't get me wrong. But do you have a favorite? Do you prefer animation over, say, live action like Lord of the Rings and things like that? Do you have one that you would rather go into when you get older?
That's a big question.
I know. And you can do both. I just didn't know if you had a favorite.
Oh, I like stop motion animation. It would definitely be one of the ones that I would go with. It's really fun. It takes a lot of time. It's really fun. You got to get the equipment. You got to have like the things to be able to do it with, but it is really fun. But definitely I would rather go with live action because my dream is to one day make like a Marvel or a DC or a Star Wars movie. And that would just be so awesome.
Very cool. Well, I believe it'll happen. I think just talking to you for the very first time, I can tell how passionate you are. Stop motion animation takes so much patience and planning. And I think the fact that a lot of people, which there's nothing wrong with this, but a lot of people will just go grab a camera and go shoot something. And that there is so much to be said about that. That's important too. But I think it's really, really cool that you are such a planner and you are so patient and you're gifted. And I'm
probably meticulous
and really meticulous. and anyway, I just think that what you're doing is so cool. And I want to encourage you to keep going because I can totally see you being a very successful filmmaker. It's very cool.
Thank you.
Well, I do want to ask a question. So this is the mom side of me that comes out in all of this. And we have we're working on a workbook called Train Up a Child. And it really is going to be an encouragement to parents to be paying attention to their kids' spiritual gifts, talents, things that God has given them. And I'm going to guess that you feel fairly supported by your parents. Do you feel like they've been paying attention? And for you and your brother, they are supporting you?
Mm-hmm, very much so. I mean, they got me all the equipment that I asked for. Mom even gave me her camera. They are so supportive. They encourage me to do it each day, to work on it a little bit every day to get the good videos. They give me like support on it, going like, this needs to be changed, to be so much better. And I'm like, thank you for the help, because I really like that. I really like that.
Can you imagine what your life would be like if they didn't support you? Wouldn't that be just crazy hard?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very much so.
How many Lego sets do you guys have?
He said, that's a big question.
Yeah. We got like 2 about that big tubs filled up with instruction manuals. And we have almost all the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit sets.
Wow.
And a lot of the Batman movie sets. And we have some pirate ships and some UCS Ultimate Collector Series Batmobile.
Would you say you have over 100?
At least 800.
Oh my gosh.
At least. What? I don't know.
You blew me out of the water.
That's so cool.
I was way under.
Well, and she's going to be so mad at me for saying this, but your mom's hooked too.
Oh, yeah. She works on the modular buildings. They're what you see behind me as well, all of them on the table. She works on all those ones. She likes her winter village that she sets up every Christmas.
Oh.
She loves it. I mean, last time I counted minifig wise of all the little people that we have, I at least got 1,200 something. And that was in 2019.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, your mom will put pictures on Facebook of, curtains and things that she's just put in one of the sets, and it's just it's awesome that you guys have totally won her over and she's in. So
oh yeah, Originally, she's like, oh, well, you guys like it. I'll like it if you like it. But now in my mind, it seems like she likes it
She likes
just
it
as
now.
much.
That's cool.
Do you ever let your brother voice any of the characters?
Of course, he was actually the fox in our Living Bricks Literature Chanticleer and the Fox movie.
Okay.
And
cool.
he sometimes pitches in with some of the reviews on the BFOL one. He even does his own Playmobil reviews. I try to get him to make his own channel, but he's only 10. He won't necessarily do it.
Well, that's so nice of you to include him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can tell from the things that your mom shares. You guys are really close. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was gonna say you might not know this because your mom and I had talked about this months ago, but she was mentioning that you were writing your screenplay in notebooks, and so
Or your novel.
I'm sorry.
The screenplay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I remember when Sarah started, she was about 17 when she wrote her first screenplay, and we went online and we found a software program. So I messaged your mom and said, "Hey, he needs to be not doing this in
a notebook.
Get him some software." So I think you guys did, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we did. And it's helped me very much with my plays and my movies.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah, doesn't it help when it kind of formats
it and
yeah, it makes it make more sense.
Yes, totally.
Well,
that's so cool.
Yeah, I'm glad because now she has a software program that it actually costs money. It wasn't free.
That's true.
Like the first one. But yeah, so well, keep up the great work.
Yeah, we are so
awesome.
proud of you. This is so cool. I'm so glad we got to meet today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great to be here.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna be praying for you, and just that God will continue to use you. I love that you are already giving him all of the glory for the talents that he's given you. Keep pursuing that. Keep pushing. Keep praying about it. And he's going to open doors for you in filmmaking. I believe that. And so we are so excited for you and so grateful that you came on to talk with us today.
And we're definitely going to continue to follow you.
Yes. Well, before you mentioned your YouTube channels, but can you go ahead and just reiterate real quick where people can go watch your films?
Well, my mom puts them on Facebook on her page, but we also have a Facebook page for our BFOL. It's called Lego Bros. And we actually have an Instagram page as well for Living Bricks Literature. And you can also go to the direct YouTube channel itself and just have a BFO Brother Fans Lego or just Living Bricks Literature, and you'll get both of them. The Living Bricks has about 11 videos so far. It's fairly new, but they're they take a really long time to do because you got to plan out everything. You got to do the scripts. You got to adapt the stories. It's way harder than just making a BFL one where you just make it up as you go, like the Pirates one.
Yeah.
Right.
Very cool. We'll be sure to add add all of the links at the bottom so people can go find it. That's so cool.
Okay.
Well, it was very nice to meet you.
And we're so grateful.
Yeah. Very proud of you. Good job.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you later.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Our second guest today is Lincoln Josselyn. Lincoln is 10 years old and in the 5th grade. Lincoln's mom, Bria, was one of our very first guests on the podcast, and she talked about being a video podcaster, as well as a new adoptive mom of a special needs daughter. Lincoln is an actress, and she has been in a few stage productions like Alice in Wonderland, A Christmas Carol, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Moana Jr., and she was just recently cast as the lead role of Matilda in Matilda Jr. Lincoln, we are so excited to have you. Thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm very excited today to show my life story and what Jesus and God have given to me to be on the earth today. So
That's
yes,
awesome. Well,
absolutely.
good. Well, so I don't think we've officially met before. We know your mom, but my husband teaches at your school. He's computer
robotics.
and robotics.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for clarifying that for me because I never know. He changes all the time. But anyway, so I have actually seen you in a play. We saw you in Christmas Carol a couple of years ago. And you did a very good job. I was very impressed. And that's when I first met your mom and found out we were all from Southern California. You were born in California.
I was born in California.
So it's great that we're going to connect today. So.
I'm very excited. There's a lot of things that you and I are very similar about or
Yes,
on,
you
and
have
so
in
I'm
common.
excited to talk to you about them. Well, first, I just want to give you some time to introduce yourself to our listeners. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your family and what you like to do?
My name is Lincoln Josselyn. I am a actress for my school, and like, I don't know if I should say the name or not, but I go to another place too. But I'm taking a break right now to go to my school ones. But I have 4 siblings, 2 dogs, and a bunny. And then I have my 2 parents, my mom and my dad. And one of my sisters is currently in California, but yeah.
Very cool.
Do you miss her?
Yes, I miss her a lot.
What are your sisters' names?
We have Toby, Parker, Journey, Sonny, and then me.
Awesome.
So cool. What you guys have a very beautiful family.
Yeah, we've actually put your family's picture on our podcast
Before.
So yeah, you are adorable family. So that's awesome.
Well, so you like acting.
Yes.
Yes. How did you get started in that? When was the first time that you thought, maybe I want to be an actor or an actress?
I really don't know how. It's probably because I've seen my older siblings like in some plays. Like my older sister Journey was in A Christmas Carol. Toby was in I think she was in Willy Wonka and something else. I can't remember. And then Parker was in Annie. She was the youngest daughter, and she just had an amazing singing voice. And that really, I think, went through me to make me want to be like an actress. So I was like, man, I feel like this could be my special thing. Like
I love
one
that.
of the things I do really well.
So cool.
Well, you have to tell her how you got started.
Well, yeah. So I started acting when I was about your age. I was about 10 or 11 at the same school that you go to. Where my dad teaches in that robotics room, that used to be a stage. There used to be a stage in there with a little audience. And that's where I did my very first play. It was Shakespeare. And so it's just really, it's cool that we have that in common, that's where we both got
the exact same
school. And so I just remember, just like you kind of deciding that I think this is the thing that God put me on the earth to do. And so I just want to encourage you and tell you that I love that. And I want to just encourage you to keep pursuing it. So let's talk a little bit more about acting, and then we can kind of talk about some of the other personal, like the China stuff and all of that later. But so I want to ask you, what do you like about acting? So you watched your sisters, you knew you wanted to try it, but when you're actually doing it, what do you like about it?
I really like how you can make good friendships with other people that you don't really get to see as much. Like I know a few sixth graders actually really well because of Matilda, and it's just, I don't know why, it just makes me very happy to see people want to come and see me and my group of friends and watch them be good. Be really I forgot the word, amazing for like our community. And I also like how we're raising money for our school. That's another really important thing, because we almost didn't get to do a play this year because of money. So, but I'm really happy we did.
So you're a stage actress. It's important to note that. Do you like rehearsals better, or do you like the shows better?
I have to say I like them both equally, because they both, like, you're still doing it, and you're like showing your friends like how you do it. And when you're on stage, you can't really do that because it's like the audience, and not really all of them are your friends, but some can be. And I just like how in rehearsal, if you make a mistake, it's no problem. But if you're on the stage, if you make a little tiny mistake, like if you accidentally like trip, I feel like people will remember that, but it won't reflect off of you. So
Totally.
That's why I like them both equally.
You like them both. Very cool. I always liked rehearsals the most, because it's like kind of like you said, it's the time when you get to make friends and you get to develop the relationships between you and your cast members. I think I always really liked
did.
I was always a rehearsal girl. When the shows came, I was like, oh no, it's almost over.
So that's another thing. So.
Well, let me speak to making a mistake in the show. So Sarah rarely makes mistakes in the show. She's really good about memorizing her lines and being really careful. And there was one time when her sword, she was a mouse, and she was fighting with a sword.
As the Nutcracker.
It was in the Nutcracker, that's right. And it broke. And she just
My sword broke on stage.
Yeah.
And I was in the sword fight.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. She handled that well. But my favorite mistake.
Well, I picked up you have to tell them how I solved
how did you fix it?
There was another dead mouse. There was a dead mouse nearby, and they had died with their sword. So I went and I picked up their sword, and I finished the sword fight.
Oh, see, I forgot that part.
Thank
done,
you,
yes.
thank you.
But there was one other time when she made a mistake, and it was just one word she used.
Oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing.
But it was just the wrong name. But what she just didn't understand, I think, like you said, it was embarrassing at the moment.
You have to say what it is.
I'm gonna let you tell it. But it was so funny for the rest of us. It didn't reflect badly. We just cracked up with her.
That's live theater, I tell you.
It was live theater. So tell her what happened.
So I was playing Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. And I'm supposed to say goodbye to the Tin Man and the Lion and the Scarecrow in a particular order at the end of the show. And I said goodbye to the Cowardly Lion. I said goodbye to the Tin Man. And I went up to the Scarecrow, who I'm supposed to say, I'm going to miss you most of all, Scarecrow. Because he's the one I met first, and I called him Tin Man, and it was even though I just said goodbye to the Tin Man,
it was though.
Very embarrassing. But apparently, like you said, it doesn't reflect on you. That's part of the experience of live theater, and it was fun.
And sometimes when you're older, you're probably gonna be like, well, why was I mad about that? I mean,
totally.
This is kind of funny.
Now we can look back on it. I'm still a little bit embarrassed, but it was funny and it was fine.
There was nothing to be embarrassed about. It was just cute.
Well, so your show is in April, which is this month.
Yes.
How long have you guys been rehearsing?
I think we started in middle February.
Okay.
Wow. So you guys are well into rehearsals. Do you feel like you're ready?
No. I haven't got any of I've gotten just half of my lines done.
How do you does your mom help you memorize your lines?
Not really.
Not really. How do you memorize your lines? Do you just memorize it just by practicing?
I memorize them whatever scene we're on. I memorize the lines right before it, and then I memorize the song lines, and then and then I would memorize the lines after it. Like on Bruce, Bruce is saying, "I ate the cake," and then after it, he's gonna get taken to Chokey. So I memorize that whole section.
Gotcha. You do it in sections.
Except there's this one big part I can't say very well. It's him be like, I sort of ate the cake, maybe. It's really long and it's confusing.
But you've got some more time. You still have a few more weeks.
Yes.
To memorize.
I think we got 4 weeks.
4 more weeks.
Great. Well, So do you have a class that you were in where you do this, or do you have to stay after school?
We stay after school, and sometimes we have specials because I'm not really in middle school yet.
Right.
Because,
not till next year.
And they have this special hour where they can just go.
Okay.
It's called Scholar Hour, and they can just go to whatever class they need most. If you have trouble with math, you go to math, reading, science, social studies, and then if you need to be practicing something, you go there.
Perfect.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that's what we do. But I just have specials where we just go and have fun and play some theater games.
So sweet. Cool. Well, I just love that you're doing theater. I told your mom this when we talked in our podcast, that theater is just a great way to learn about the world. There's rejection involved. There are so many times where I worked hard and I thought I was going to get a role and I didn't get the role. And, that happened. I've been acting for so long, and that happens sometimes. And that's okay, because you know what? God's got a plan for you. And there are times where I didn't get a role, And then later, like 6 months later, we realized why. Oh, I wasn't supposed to get that role, so I could do this or this. And so theater is just, and it's a great way to make friends, just like you said. And it's just such a great, it helps you get a good work ethic. And so I'm just so proud of you. And I just want to keep encouraging you to, oh my gosh, I love your cup. And I want to just continue, I just want to encourage you to continue pursuing it because it sounds like you love it. And I think God put that love of theater in there, in you to keep doing it.
Well, and maybe we could transition just a little bit to talents and gifts.
Yeah.
So we know that you're an actress, and that when you get on stage, do you get nervous, or you're pretty good to go?
I've been in many plays, but like not as really big roles. Like I was small Alice in Wonderland, but it was just like a portion I was in, not a lot. But this year for Matilda, I have a bunch of my friends from school coming, and we actually did Revolting Children and music the other day.
I love that song.
And I did not do it well. Like, we haven't learned the whole song yet.
Okay.
Like, we were doing the dance and the song, and I didn't know it. And then I got really embarrassed.
Oh yeah. Well, that's
I think that's pretty normal. Yeah.
Well, so if you're an actress, though, one of your talents is going to be storytelling, right? You are up there acting out a story for the rest of us to see and to watch and to be inspired by. And your mom sent me a couple of things that are talents of yours, but I was wondering if you have given that some thought. Do you know what you're good at besides acting?
Well, I just want to say, like, when you said storytelling, my actor Matilda does actually tell a story.
Cool.
Nice.
In the play.
That's perfect.
That's cool.
It's like about these two people, the acrobat and the escapologist, but I'll tell that another time maybe.
Okay.
But
talents and gifts.
I'm a gymnast. I'm in level 2.
Okay.
In gymnastics. I'm also a good dog trainer, and I have 2 dogs. And I train them pretty well. I give them time to play, and I walk them sometimes,
Good.
not all the time, but so they can get exercise. And I'm also good at my dog Rascal.
Yeah.
Well, he is really fast and really strong, and when I'm on my walks, he'll pull me, so I'm good at getting mad at him. That's another thing I'm good at.
Well, that's awesome.
I'm also kind of good at public speaking.
Okay.
Great.
And I'm also good at singing and making songs.
I love that.
Nice.
God has really given you a lot of talents.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So when you one thing that we like to talk about on the podcast is talents and gifts, but it's also, to add to that, it's about that God gave them to you, as I just said. Mm-hmm. And so do you find that when you're doing your acting, or you're writing songs, or you're doing gymnastics, that you remember that God gave those to you?
Yes, I remember as soon as I was born, God gave me the talent of gymnastics. Right then.
Right away.
When I was a baby and my mom was changing my diapers. That's pretty gross, but hear me out. I was doing sit-ups.
Oh, that's funny.
And then at daycare, we had this little bar for this toy bus, and I would just go.
Oh my gosh.
Nice. Well, good.
I love that. I love that you know that God gave them to you, and
Yep.
and that you remember that.
That's awesome. Well, so one of the things that your mom talked about on her podcast, and we'd love to hear your adventure, just because your life is more than just acting, right? You have this whole family, and you guys just went on vacation to Florida and had, this great trip. But one of the things that you did is that you went with your mom and your dad when you all adopted your sister Sonny to China. What was that like?
It was actually a huge adventure for me. I was amazed how to see, how other people's cultures were. I'm this girl from Tennessee, where we would just walk around in neighborhoods. But there you could literally walk in the city. You would just walk in the city. It was I was
Wow.
like, whoa, this is weird but cool.
Yeah.
And then they had this IAPA, which I've really never been to, but it was closed, which was sad.
Aw. What is that?
But we also, like, there was, like, this big photo place where you could get photos, and there was, like, a big Rubik's Cube.
Cool.
And then another fun thing we did, Terracotta Warriors are these statues in China. And they're, like, made by Emperor Qin, I think. And he, like, painted them. And they're just these clay statues. Every single one of them is different, like hair, facial features, clothing. And they were made with real weapons. It was so
wow.
cool.
That is really cool.
And you
But
guys saw that on one of your days when you were touring around?
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
That is so cool.
And there's still one chamber left. And it's where Emperor Qin was buried.
Oh, okay.
There's gold all around it, and it's like they can't, if they try and get that out, the whole thing will crash. The gold will all crash onto Emperor Qin's body, and you can't get it out then.
Right. Yeah.
So they're just leaving it
Very
there.
cool. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that would be neat to see.
What a cool adventure you got to go on. That's so special.
Did you also get to see Sonny's where she lived?
Oh yeah, I got to see her. I got to meet her mom and dad and her foster siblings.
Okay.
There was, I think, 4 of them. They were all, or like 6 or 5. I really can't remember that well, but it was amazing. They made us like dumplings, which were Sonny's favorite food, and that's the only thing she ate fast was dumplings. She would go.
That's funny.
But it was awesome to see where she lived because I think my mom got a picture with one kid like on her phone.
Okay.
I think she was like holding her phone, and then this kid said, "Can I get a picture with you?" And she got like a cute little selfie, and it was like,
cute.
I was like, "This is just amazing. I love this place. I'm never going home again."
Well, that is such a cool adventure. I've never been to China.
No, I haven't either.
That is so cool.
Had you been on a plane before?
Yes, I've been on quite a few planes. Once, like a few to California.
Right.
Like I've just been around the world.
Nice.
Wow.
Yes, you have.
That's very cool.
Well, what's it like being a big sister now? Because you were the youngest before Sonny came along, right?
Yes. At first I was like, I get to finally be the big sister. I'd never been this before. And now that I'm getting like used to it. I do miss being the littlest one. And I do get to hang out with my friends more often because like when I was littler, I didn't get to do that much stuff because I would always be home because I had this fright of being like taken away from my family.
Yeah.
Oh.
If I was hanging out with friends.
But that's
I
okay
don't know.
now? But you're okay now? Yeah. Okay. Well, good. Well, so one of the things that we like to talk about is we call it train up a child. But it really seems like your mom and dad do a great job of trying to find out the things that you guys are good at, encouraging you. So do you feel like your mom and dad support you?
Yes. If I ever make a mistake on stage, they'll be like, "It's okay, you did. It's so amazing." And they'll like just be like, "Here you go," and like give me flowers and try to help me hold back like the tears if I made a mistake. But sometimes the people think like it was part of the play, which is another amazing thing.
Yep.
And if I ever make a mistake in gymnastics, they'll always have my back.
Yeah.
If I like fall down on my vault.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's important to remember that sometimes not everyone gets to have their parents come to all of your shows and your gymnastic meets and things. And so it sounds like they're always there and they're always going to come see your shows and be supportive. And I love that. I think that's so important.
If you thought for like one day you woke up and you're like, I would really like to try something new, and I don't know what that would be, but
painting or something.
Painting, yeah. Do you feel like you could go to your mom and say, "Hey, Mom, I really would like to try this," and she would be supportive?
Yes, I feel like if anything I want to try to help me find out who I am or something like that, they would always be like, "Okay, we'll be right here while you go do that."
Yeah.
And my sister is actually a good painter. You can probably see one of her paintings right here.
Oh, very nice.
She is
So
a good
cool.
painter.
Well, I just love that your parents have been so supportive of you and your sisters. Okay, well, I want to ask you one more question. You're so talented in so many things, as we talked about earlier, but what do you want to be when you grow up? What is your dream job?
Actress for like a whole bunch of movies. And it's funny that you said that because that's also in the play. I was gonna say when I grow up I will eat sweets every day on the way to work and I will go to bed late every night. Because
I love
that's
that
the
song
line
too.
in my song.
Yeah, in the song When I Grow Up. Yeah. So cool. Well, so you want to be an actress when you grow up and you want to be in movies too. That's what you just said? Do you want to do stage as well? Do you want to do both? Or just movies? Both. Very cool. A girl after my own heart.
Yes. Well, when Sarah was little, she only wanted to do stage. She only wanted
to do plays and musicals.
She just would not even think about doing a movie. And now that she's done a movie, she's like,
I love movies, and now I want to do both. Well,
Which movie were you in?
I have been in a movie called Fat Chance. That was my most recent movie, and that was a Christian movie that we really liked making. And then we made a movie together over 10 years ago, before you were born. That was a musical, and so that was fun. So we like making movies as well, and I love being in plays. Last time I was in a play it was a long time ago, but I also love being in plays and musicals. So you're very special to me because you remind me a lot of myself, and that's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think that it's so cool. I think that no matter what, you should always keep pursuing what God puts on your heart to pursue. And I love that your parents are going to be supportive. And so I just wanted to encourage you and thank you for being here today.
Yes, we are so glad that
This
you had
was so
time to talk with
fun.
us. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. This has been the highlight of my day. So
Oh, good. I love it.
I'm glad.
Well, thank you so much. And we will see you later, Lincoln.
Bye. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. For more information on Project Brickworks and how you can get involved, visit us online at projectbrickworks.org. To subscribe to our newsletter, text BRICK to 55498. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, like our Facebook page, and if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit the subscribe button, give us a like, and turn on notifications. If you're listening to this on a podcast, please subscribe and be encouraging with your rating, please. We love you all. Be blessed. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.